الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله
Southeast Asian nation bills itself as a moderate Islamic country.
But today, powerful forces are trying to turn it into a fundamentalist Islamic state. And that has Malaysian Christians worried about the future of religious freedom. Here's my report from the capital city of Kuala Lumpur.
They forced me to renounce Christ, but I said no way.
Daniel is a young Malaysian who has lived a secret and sometimes dangerous life.
I've been threatened with death so many times by radical Muslims, but by the grace of God, I'm still alive.
And you were once taken into a cell, beaten by these radical Muslims.
Daniel converted from Islam to Christianity in 1998. We've concealed his identity and changed his voice.
Under the Islamic laws of my country, the authorities can arrest me for my conversion.
Malaysians attempting to leave Islam has become one of the most controversial issues in this country. The debate erupted last year when Malaysia's highest court rejected a Muslim convert's battle to be legally recognized as a Christian. Was the Lina Joy case a turning point in this whole crisis in your country?
Yeah, it was a turning point in the wrong direction.
MALIK IMTIAZ SARWAR, a well-known human rights lawyer and a Muslim, presented a brief in support of Ms. Lina Joy's conversion case.
It crystallized a legal basis to implement the kind of measures that we say are undermining of the entire societal framework of this country. Lina Joy was a bad decision, a very, very bad decision.
A decision that forced Lina Joy to flee the country. Meanwhile, Sarwar's support for Joy made him a wanted man. Posters carrying his picture circulated calling for his death. He's been branded an Islamic traitor because he believes that Malaysians should be free to choose their religion.
The freedom is to profess. And once one professes, and this is even in the Quran, it is for that person and God after that.
Malay Muslims make up 60% of the population. The rest are mostly Christians, Hindus and Buddhists. The Malaysian constitution guarantees freedom of religion, but today non-Muslims fear those freedoms are being curtailed by powerful forces who want to turn Malaysia into an Islamic state.
The extreme fundamentalists tend to believe that the laws of Malaysia must be Sharia compliance.
Wong Kim Kong is the head of the National Evangelical Christian Fellowship. He says there's been a subtle and gradual encroachment by extreme fundamentalists in the affairs and rights of Christians. A case in point, the Malaysian government recently announced that certain Arabic words such as Allah cannot be used by non-Muslims. They argue that Allah, which means God in the Malay language, refers to the Muslim God and can only be used by Muslims.
The Islamic Authority failed to recognize that the word Allah predates Islam. You know, this word existed way before Islamic religion came into existence.
At the center of this controversy is the Herald, a Christian newspaper that's been warned repeatedly that its permit may be revoked if it refuses to drop the use of Allah in its Malay language section. Is this case an affront to religious freedom in Malaysia?
Definitely. Definitely. Obviously, I mean, when you tell somebody of another faith that you can't use the word to worship, then where are we going to? Is there another word that we can use which is in the language for God? There is none.
The Herald has filed a lawsuit against the government on grounds that the ban is unconstitutional and against freedom of religion. Meanwhile, violations against the Christian community continue. Malay's Internal Security Religious Department raided several Christian bookstores recently and seized children's books, claiming that they violated Islamic Sharia law and aroused Muslim sensitivities. Yanis Gatsionis is a freelance journalist based in Malaysia.
One of the things we hear quite a bit here in Malaysia is the need to protect Muslim sensitivities. I don't think that bodes well for tolerance. Tolerance is not about protecting sensitivities, but about getting people used to accepting other people as they are.
These episodes leave many worried about the future of religious freedom here and uncomfortable with the rise of a new and radical form of Islam that threatens to undermine Malaysia's image as a moderate and progressive nation.
We want people around the world to pray for us. We want people to speak out on our behalf so that we can have the freedom to practice our faith.
And we're getting reports that that freedom is under fire. Again, we're told that the Malaysian customs agents confiscated 32 Bibles from a woman coming into the country last week. She said the scriptures were for her Bible study group. A Malaysian pastor says it's more evidence that the country is becoming less tolerant of other faiths. And Wendy, just a point here, you know, this is a very moderate Islamic country, and the world looks at Malaysia as a model where Islam and democracy can coexist. These kinds of events really shatters that.
So about 60% of the population is Muslim.
Yes, but it is in the constitution. It says that Malaysia is a secular nation, and people want to uphold that.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you so much, George.
You're welcome.